Welcome to Car Show 1, the channel where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of cars, from timeless classics to the latest modern marvels. If you love exploring the history, design, performance, and legacy of some of the most remarkable vehicles ever built, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a car that might not always be in the spotlight but played a crucial role in shaping affordable, reliable transportation during its time, the 1978 Datsun 210. A car that stood for economy, dependability, and a surprisingly lasting charm. Let's rewind to the late 1970s and see why the Datsun 210 was more than just an entry-level car. It was a key player in Nissan's rise on the global stage. The 1970s were a turbulent period for the automotive industry. The oil crisis had shaken the world earlier in the decade, and fuel economy became one of the most important selling points for car buyers. Large, gas-hungry sedans were falling out of favor, and compact, fuel-efficient cars were in high demand. Japanese automakers saw an opportunity, and Datsun, known today as Nissan, was one of the brands that took full advantage of this market shift. The Datsun 210, also known in some markets as the Nissan Sunny, was designed to deliver exactly what people wanted: affordable price, excellent fuel efficiency, simple maintenance, and reliable performance. By 1978, the 210 had cemented itself as a practical, no-nonsense car that appealed to families, commuters, and first-time car owners alike. The design of the 1978 Datsun 210 reflected its purpose. It wasn't flashy or overly styled, but it was clean, simple, and functional. The body was compact yet roomy enough for everyday use, with a boxy shape that maximized interior space while keeping the car light. Its front end carried a modest chrome grille with horizontal slats, flanked by round headlights that gave it a friendly, approachable face. The straight, unpretentious lines along the body made it look tidy and practical, avoiding any unnecessary complexity that could drive up costs or complicate repairs. It was available in multiple body styles, including a two-door coupe, a four-door sedan, and a station wagon, giving buyers the flexibility to choose what suited their needs best. Under the hood, the 1978 Datsun 210 typically came with a small but efficient four-cylinder engine. In the US market, this was usually the 1.4-liter A-series engine, producing around 70 horsepower. Now, that might not sound like much by today's standards, but in the late 1970s, for a lightweight compact car, it was enough to get around town comfortably and even handle highway driving. The engine was paired with either a 4-speed manual transmission or, for those who preferred convenience, a 3-speed automatic. Its lightweight and small displacement meant it could deliver fuel economy figures in the range of 35 to 40 miles per gallon, a major selling point at a time when gas prices were high and rising. Performance-wise, the Datsun 210 was never intended to be a sports car. It was built for everyday driving, and in that role, it excelled. The steering was light, the suspension was soft enough for comfort yet stable enough for city driving, and the brakes, though modest, were dependable. This was a car that made you feel confident it would get you where you needed to go without fuss. And that's exactly what many buyers wanted: a vehicle they didn't have to think about every day, one that just worked. One of the biggest strengths of the 1978 Datsun 210 was its durability. Japanese engineering in the late 1970s was quickly gaining a reputation for reliability, and the 210 played a part in that. Owners appreciated that the car rarely broke down if maintained properly, and even when it did, repairs were simple and parts were relatively cheap. Mechanics found them easy to work on, which kept maintenance costs low. It wasn't uncommon for a well-kept Datsun 210 to last for many years and rack up high mileage, further proving its value. Inside the cabin, the 1978 Datsun 210 kept things minimal but functional. The dashboard was straightforward, with easy-to-read gauges and simple controls for heating, ventilation, and the optional AM or AM/FM radio. The seats were basic but comfortable enough for short to medium trips, upholstered in durable materials that held up well over time. While it lacked luxury features, that was never the point of this car. It was meant to be practical and affordable, and it delivered exactly that. Another reason the 1978 Datsun 210 was popular was its accessibility to a wide range of buyers. Its low purchase price made it appealing to students, young professionals, and small families. Insurance costs were low, thanks to its small engine and economy-focused design. It was also popular among those buying their very first car, as it offered an affordable way to gain independence without worrying about constant repairs or high running costs. The 1978 model year was part of the B310 generation of the Sunny 210 lineup, which had been introduced in 1977 and ran until 1981. This generation brought a slightly more modern look compared to earlier models, along with improvements in safety and comfort. In the US, the Datsun 210 competed against other compact imports like the Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic, and Mazda GLC. While those cars often get more attention today, the Datsun 210 held its own in the market and was a strong seller for Nissan. Beyond its role as an everyday commuter, the Datsun 210 also found a following among car enthusiasts who saw its potential as a lightweight, easy-to-modify platform. Its simple mechanical layout made it a good candidate for engine swaps, performance upgrades, and even racing in lower-level motorsport categories. While the majority of 210s lived their lives as humble daily drivers, a few found second lives as surprisingly quick and fun project cars. The fuel economy and reliability of the 210 also made it a car that owners tended to keep for a long time, and in many cases, they developed a sentimental attachment to it. Stories of families passing down their Datsun 210s to younger generations were not uncommon. It wasn't just a machine; for many, it became part of the family history. Today, the 1978 Datsun 210 is considered a rare sight on the roads, especially in original condition. Many were driven until they could drive no more, and because they weren't expensive or flashy, fewer people preserved them as collector cars. However, among Datsun and Nissan enthusiasts, the 210 is appreciated as a reminder of a time when cars were simpler, more mechanical, and focused on core values like efficiency and reliability. Restored examples or well-preserved survivors can still be found, often cherished by owners who understand their historical importance. Looking back, the 1978 Datsun 210 played an important role in Nissan's success in the US and global markets. It proved that Japanese automakers could deliver vehicles that met the needs of everyday people better than many domestic options of the time. It also contributed to the shift in consumer perception, helping Japanese brands gain long-term trust and loyalty, something that would pay off greatly in the decades to follow. For many who owned one, the Datsun 210 represented freedom, dependability, and smart economics. Whether it was taking you to work every day, bringing the kids to school, or even embarking on long road trips with careful packing, it was a car that delivered more than its modest looks suggested. Even though it never claimed the performance crown or luxury title, the 1978 Datsun 210 earned its place in automotive history by being exactly what the world needed at the time: a trustworthy, affordable, and fuel-efficient vehicle. And sometimes, those are the cars that leave the biggest mark, not because they dazzled with speed or style, but because they were there for you day in and day out, mile after mile. And that's the story of the 1978 Datsun 210, a humble hero of the late 1970s. It might not make headlines today, but its legacy lives on in the values we still look for in a good car: efficiency, reliability, and affordability. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Datsun 210, make sure to subscribe to Car Show 1, where we keep the spirit of classic cars alive with stories, reviews, and histories of vehicles that deserve to be remembered. Until next time, keep your engines running and your wheels turning.